What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Post Credits Podcast, a show where we are lucky enough to talk about movies with you. This is episode 39, although this is like the fifth recording of 39. The things we do for you people.
Yes.
Recorded on July 20th, 2025 to get posted to podcast services on Tuesday, July 22nd to the usual spots. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, Podbean, and YouTube. If you're listening to us on an audio-only version, please come on over to YouTube. Check us out there as well. You can see Roger's full majestic beard, my failure as at growing a beard. Chris, sometimes it looks kempt, sometimes unkempt. I don't know. Every week it's like a tossing of the coin.
It's a dice roll.
Which one you
It
going
is
to get?
indeed. That's right. That is correct. We try and step out some interesting segments there for you, but however you choose to enjoy, thank you very much. We have an episode for you today. It's kind of a big one for me. I worked on the movie we're talking about, so that's always a fun one to me. But we're going to yammer for 1 minute, exactly 1 minute or less. Talk about some box office. Chris has a movie recommendation for you.
I do.
And then we're going to talk about I Know What You Did Last Summer 2025. But let's start. I'm one of your hosts, Grayson Maxwell, and joining me as I do every week are my lovely, conducive, kempt, I don't know, hosts, Roger Stillion and Chris Boughan, whatever.
Yeah, well, it is what it
I tried to
is.
throw more words in.
How did it work out?
We're good. Okay, we're good. I think we're past the mark. So we had some technical difficulties the first few times.
Yeah, for the first time in a while too. So
but we're flying now. So this might be a more condensed episode than usual.
Yep.
It's all right. The movie's not very good. Spoiler.
Let's just real quick. The box office: Superman number 1, 57.3 for 406 million. Number 2.
Woo-hoo.
Jurassic World Rebirth 23.4 for 647 million. Number 3, I Know You Did Last. See that we never got this far, so this is the first we got.
No.
Yep.
I Know What You Did Last Summer, 13 million for a very disappointing 24 million. Oh, that seems to track right with like.
I forgot that Smurfs came out this week.
Yeah, Smurfs.
Yeah,
I forgot that.
And I just through the grapevine have learned that so Smurfs 11 million for a 33 worldwide. However, I've recently learned that the advertised budget of 58 is wrong. It's more like 100 million.
Well, all I know is that Smurfs is probably the worst kids movie that's come out this year, and it almost made as much money as I Know You Did Last Summer. So
fair enough. Number 5, F1 still holding on in the top 5, 9.6 million, 460 million worldwide. That's actually keeping pace with. No, it's not. I was going to say Superman, but it came out 2 weeks before
F1 rules.
yeah,
Just go see it.
yeah,
it is good. Just
F1
real quick.
whips ass.
6 through 10, How to Train Your Dragon, Eddington, Elio, Lilo and Stitch, and 28 Years Later, all in the top 10 still. But that's your box office. We're flying through this. Chris, as I understand it, you have a movie recommendation for us this week. Why don't you tell us what that is real quick?
The movie recommendation I have this week to go along with the kind of like that horror slasher genre area is Smile. Smile came out not too long ago, but recent enough to where you may have seen this movie. But if you have not, Smile is a fantastic movie. Very well done. Good writing. Good scares, very good creepy factor to it, and it was one of the shining gems of the year, not only for genre specific, but just overall movies. It was one of the good ones of the year it came out. So, yeah, you should watch Smile. It's got some, like I said, decent writing in it, good scares. The big bad that you end up meeting by the end of the film is very creepy and very well done.
Not a fan.
So, and just again, a good psychological kind of like horror vibe going on with the whole movie. So yeah, I think Smile is a good film. Not a lot. I don't think it gets enough recognition for what it did that year. Had a good advertising campaign all over, like what was it, like baseball games all over the place.
It was stand in the background and shit. Yeah, no, didn't like that
good
either.
stuff. So yeah, good movie.
Not a fan of that.
Yeah,
that was 2022, written directed by Parker Finn. Not a huge cast though. Susie Bacon, Jesse T. Usher, Kyle Gallner was one of the big names. Cal Penn.
Mm-hmm.
It was actually one thing about it is I remember that movie very well because I thought it was actually somewhat creative.
Yeah.
For being kind of a rehashed, well, in a genre that doesn't have much creativity left, is the horror genre. Is like it was actually somewhat creative.
Yeah.
And that's what I remember is like some of the scares were genuinely scary. And I mean, we got a lot of those in the trailer, which was unfortunate, but I thought the movie was pretty solid. I didn't like the second one nearly as much. But I did like it, just not nearly as much as the first one. But
Yeah,
it's a solid choice, a solid movie.
Solid Metacritic score.
Mm-hmm.
Nice, 68.
Should do well in an obscure bracket battle that it might be a part of.
If one ever happens again, But, yeah.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, indeed. All right, guys, let's take a few minutes. We're flying through this episode, if you hadn't noticed, dear viewer.
We're scorching, baby.
Yeah, let's go.
One of the favorite things that I want to talk about is because of course I was excited for this one. I know you did last summer. It's a big deal. It's a big deal to me for two reasons. I was fortunate enough to work on it, and
one, they signed my paychecks.
Sure. I got my weekly paycheck, and my pension hours were correct every week, and I thank you for that, Sony. But the late '90s was a really special time for me for movies. It was really coming on my formative years and really seeing what worked and what didn't work in big budget Hollywood and horror. And horror to me is one of those I will always remember the late '90s or mid to late '90s, such as Scream. I Know You Did Last Summer. What's the other one we talked about earlier? Urban Legends.
Urban Legend.
Mm-hmm.
That was the other one then. That's a very special time for me, and I know for a lot of people it is. And the Hollywood was really kind of at its biggest in the mid to late '90s with super overproduced and super overlit things, and these scenes that don't really make any sense, but huge Hollywood actors in them, and it's kind of a juxtaposition of where we are now. Looking at the cast of the first, for example, I Know You Did Last Summer, and then this 2025 is everyone in that cast was somebody. No one in this cast.
Oh, yeah, they were megastars.
Yeah, I mean, or well on their way to being megastars. But this one's the newest one has a bit of a lesser cast, but it does have Jennifer Love Hewitt and Freddie Prinze Jr., which for a lot of people, big deal because they were part of the heartthrob '90s for a lot of people, and for me especially. I got to meet them, and a lot of these key scenes for me were special because I was actually at on this watching some of these scenes being shot. I got to go to set because a lot of the scenes were shot in one place, so I got to go to set and see a couple different setups, and it's really cool to see that, and especially how it plays out on camera, because I remember seeing certain things and seeing certain takes and certain dialogue sequences and seeing how all that gets put together in the end. But what do you guys have any fond memories from the late '90s or mid to late '90s slasher films?
Well, it's with slashers, and this is a genre that I have spoken about quite a few times. I'm not a big horror movie guy. I'm just not. When I go to a movie theater, I don't try to elicit fright. It's not my preferred emotion. But look, people are into that. It's cool. I am happy when we get something good that transcends me disliking the genre to enjoying the movie. We had Long Legs. Mm-hmm. Long Legs was a good example of a horror movie that was creepy, scary, and good.
Yeah, but also very 2023.
Sure, yeah. Look, back in the late '90s, I would go see all these movies because I was in high school, college, that kind of stuff. It's the same as how I think about it now. I generally don't care for them.
Gotcha.
Look, Scream was a game changer. Obviously, what it did, rebooted that whole Wes Craven thing, and coming off of
the recent Scream, you mean?
No, the '90s.
Oh, okay,
the late '90s Scream. When it came, and then you got this. I think this was the following year we got this movie, and then they kind of just traded places for a while with some other stuff like Urban Legends and that sort of stuff, thrown in. But you got this cast of young Hollywood people that we watched because they weren't anything, and then they were all in these, and then they became things.
Yeah,
which maybe that'll happen for these people. I don't know. These are nobodies. So
well, like you said, the people in this, not in this, in the original, I Know What You Did Last Summer, they were nobodies then, or not all of them, but some of them, but
they were mostly nobodies. So
yeah, so it's this could be just something early in some good acting careers. You know what I mean? It's hard to tell in a movie like this because they're not the most well written, most thought out. Right. So
it's not exactly a lot of acting going on.
They only have enough of the script to work with. You know what I mean? So it could still bode well for that.
I would say that, especially in this new one, the dialogue from at least two of them really just takes you out of it because it's really that's awful. And the jokes don't land as often as they want them to. It's unfortunate, but
well, like I mean, talking about what like these did for me back in the '90s. I'm a lot younger than you two old bastards, so
a lot is a relative term.
I was a little too young at the time to like really like get into like Scream and I Know What You Did Last Summer when they were out. I remember watching them a couple years later, just on VHS or on TV or something, and like
VHS baby.
No,
yeah.
it definitely wasn't VHS but I did see. I mean, it definitely wasn't on TV. It was definitely on VHS. But I remember seeing Scream and the opening scene where like the boyfriend's like duct taped to the chair outside and it like cuts his stomach open.
Yep.
That freaked me the hell out, in my younger years.
Yeah.
And I didn't like the horror slasher genre at all until I started watching movies and like looking at them critically. I've actually grown to love the horror genre now at this point, but like up until like mid-20s, man, I stayed away from that stuff. I active imagination, don't like to be scared, that kind of thing. So
but the thing is too is like you weren't really a comedy guy either.
True.
So which is ironic because like that's one of the reasons why I wasn't a big fan of like slasher movies, is because like late '90s, early 2000s, we went through this whole thing of like when I was like growing up, like that was like peak sex comedy thing.
Yeah,
like those were the big things that happened then, and like those kind of movies were. I guess they weren't necessarily more popular, but that's more of what I gravitated to, the things that I would watch
if I had to pick
instead of these.
Back then, if I had to pick between the two genres, I'm watching American Pie and
of course.
all that stuff.
Well,
American Pie, fucking Varsity Blues. Come on, dude.
Yeah.
10 out of 10 movies right there.
They're much easier to digest, I think, too. And if
they're
it's
watching someone get gutted outside their swimming pool.
Here's the thing: is like, and of course, we all remember like the whole Drew Barrymore was used to advertise the original Scream, but then like she's dead in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah,
it's like, but it was such a gruesome thing too. But it's like something I learned because my oldest sister Alyssa, her and I, our thing was like she'd go to Block, she'd get horror. We'd watch horror films together. I was super young. She was 14 years older than me, so like the age difference mattered. And mom and dad weren't, really okay with me watching them, but I mean, it has stayed bonding time with me and my sister. And I think that's more important the older I get for us, especially because we're apart. We don't see each other very often, but it's a big deal when one of these comes out because she took me to see this in the theater. I was 12, maybe. Depends on when it was a big, because like, well, that was our thing, was horror films. Like we loved it. And it's just, we've been texting back and forth. And when I told her I was working on this earlier this year, actually, she was pretty psyched, man, because that's just our thing together. And I think what I love the most about him,
Grayson's family. This is his fault. This movie's bad.
Thank you. It's actually 0% my fault. Thank you very much.
You can't say
zero.
I mean,
it may not be a significant amount. It's more than zero.
I agree.
It's more your fault than it's me and Chris's fault.
That's also true.
We're at zero.
But that's like saying like zero never approaches, or the line never approaches zero. It's like infinitely, it's like 0.001. Like it always gets infinitely closer. But
I mean, you're speaking truth.
I mean, sure, but
it's at least 4% your fault.
Well, something, Chris, I think you said is like resonates is there's an art form to making a successful slasher and horror film, and it's a very big art form, and in many ways comedy too. Like you have to break it down, and things have to land in certain spots or it just doesn't work. But like horror is tough because like it's the one thing that stands out is like you can't be too campy, but you got to be campy enough, and you can't be too much story, but it's got to be story. You know what I mean? It's a tough.
Well, you want to be original, but not that original.
Yeah.
Like you want to have a fresh take, but you gotta cater to the old crowd at least a little bit.
Yeah, it's weird. Like the horror genre,
because this is a sequel, not a reboot.
It is.
Yeah, which is funny because it's like it's I Know What You Did Last Summer. I still know what you did last summer. Then to I Know What You Did Last Summer. Like it's a weird.
So when they make a second one of these, it can be
I still know what you did last summer. Yeah,
I still know
once again know what you have done a few summers back.
I still kind of remember what you did decades ago.
Yeah. I vaguely remember my high school transgressions. Yes.
It's just that was a very because Roger, I know you've seen them, and the look of them is very different. Because back then,
like the lighting is bad. There's so many attempted jump scares.
Mm-hmm. When is lighting bad? I think the lighting is superb in the original. I don't like the lighting in this one.
Oh, because here's the thing, right?
There's a certain charm to the old lighting.
It's
Yeah,
one of the
yeah.
things though, like on all the movies did it back then, even Scream, which is like the the cream of the crop. Like no one ever turns a fucking light on when you go into a room.
Yeah,
Like, look, I can wander around my house without the lights on. I can do that.
I don't.
I can't wander around Chris's house without the lights on. I can't do that.
Yeah,
I don't like. I'm gonna walk down to this dark ass basement. I'm not gonna turn the light on. Why? Why not? Why? Like, look, if you open up the basement door and light doesn't come on, I'm just not going down there.
well, actually, I was going to ask you guys: do you guys ever get spooked in your own house, even now?
of course.
I mean, sometimes, yeah, but like enough that I would be like, I'm just gonna go back in the other room.
Well, I was gonna
Shut
say,
the door. You shut the door, it's over. Like,
Or it's like
the entity cannot cross that path.
especially if that door, that specific door in your house has a lock on it. Like, safe now.
All of my doors have spiritual locks.
Questions I never thought to ask in that or in any horror franchise is like something I didn't realize till I was older, and like someone like had to explain to me like why in any genre at all, if you're shooting a scene outside at night, the road's always wet. It's because it looks better on camera. The road's always wet, whether it rains or not. The road is always fucking wet. Like movie flashlights never illuminate shit. Movie car headlights don't illuminate anything because it conflicts with shooting the scene, and it aesthetically you can't have that.
Well, I know we're not talking about the 2025 version yet, but during this movie, I leaned over to my wife and go, "It's 2025. Not one of these people have a fucking gun."
Yeah.
This is America. They're in North Carolina. Oh. They got plenty of guns, buddy.
Whether registered or not, there's a gun somewhere. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's what I don't understand.
This is like, a beach town.
Well,
we got guns here.
That's the fallacy. Even in Scream, is like Nev goes through this more than once and doesn't carry a pistol on her at all times. After that, it just doesn't. That logic doesn't track. Or Chris, you said earlier about you get spooked in your own house. It's like the same thing. Like someone's turning off all the lights, and then like they hear a floorboard creaking. They turn around, and then like, oh, it must have been the wind. And then it makes me furious to watch some of these movies.
Or like,
it just does.
My favorite one of all time is like some woman or some guy's like, "Hello, Billy," and then no one answers, and they're like, "I'm getting in the shower. Don't mess with me." It's like,
leave me alone, you creep.
Like.
It's the horror.
Then you're bleeding on the toilet.
I'm moving out there. Like I no longer live here. The house is yours.
It belongs.
No, you don't want that at all, right? Like it's just not something you want to deal with. I wouldn't. I don't know. I would just get in a car and leave.
Yeah.
Hey, a bunch of people got murdered over there. I think it's time for me to go home. I'll see you guys. Like, anybody need a ride?
Yeah.
Or the thing that's hardest for me to accept is especially in like the Scream. Oh my God, the Scream franchise, the sequence in the second one where there's a car accident with the two police FBI guys, and Sydney literally has to crawl over the lap of Ghostface to get out of the car. She doesn't take off the fucking mask. Like I don't. And then several times in the original, I know it did last summer, and in this one, there is ample opportunity for someone to rip the hat off and see, because it becomes, when you know who it is, it's a whole lot less scary.
Well, this dude doesn't even wear a mask. He just wears like a bucket hat.
Well, it's a fisherman. It's like the slicker hat, and it's
it's a bucket hat. Like they don't have face coverings.
Don't you want to know who it is? Like, don't you want to know? That's the thing that pisses me off the most. It's like it breaks the fourth wall by every person would automatically, that would be their first, after like knowing they can't get away, their next thing would be take off the mask, like get it off. So it's a fightable thing for me. Anyway, that's one of the things that the 90s did very well in the early.
I was always told if somebody breaks into your house with a knife, you should strip naked and try to fight them nude, because that freaks people out.
I might already be naked, so that's
good enough.
Chris is one
like
step
I
ahead.
will attack you if you attack me in the shower.
Chris is like, you promise?
Sophie nude me attacking you, chasing you down the stairs. You don't want that. I assure you don't want that.
No.
Oh God.
The guy's like, I'll attack you in the shower. Chris is like, you promise? Okay.
What's up, dog? It's big game.
Just so going into this,
tough, you ain't.
Going into this, it was a special deal for me because I'm really into the slasher film. Well, I guess what became the 90s slasher film more often, and I'm really glad we got I'm really glad we got a sequel to this, because I think it's important that we get them, even though they may not be great. I do like the idea of carrying the story decades ahead. We've talked about many good ones, you know. We've talked about a lot of good ones about 30 years later. We talked about some bad ones, but some good ones too.
Yeah.
It's just, but there's what the 30 years later thing does is it's a whole different level of story elements you can play with because characters have grown up, they've become other things, and you can work with a lot in that way. But that's
Final
just
Destination did it, the most
Yeah.
recent one, and that movie. Well,
what movie did you say?
Final Destination.
Okay, yeah.
So like, I know it's not a slasher, but I put the Final Destination movies kind of in the same realm as Scream, and I know what you did last summer.
Yeah, that's
It's, like,
fine.
They have the same vibe to me, and like they had the whole, well, now we have more people to pull with. We have returning characters and like such like that. Like when done right, it can actually be a positive for it. But sometimes it's done in a way that's eye rolly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like it Scream, like the most recent Screams. They've done that pretty well. At this point. So Final Destination, I didn't see this one along with you guys. So I'll be interested to hear if they did an okay job at it. In those regards. I know characters returned.
In some respects they didn't, but in some they did. I mean, I got to be honest, like they did a few things right, and I got to be honest about that.
Cool.
But Roger, let's without any more jibber jabber, let's jump into it.
Jibber-dabber.
Jadabber.
Let's do it. Let's get into it now. Roger, did you know what the Rotten Tomatoes of this one is?
We have no idea. Take a guess.
This is bad. 38 and 68. Literally 30 apart.
Those are pretty bad ratings either way, right?
They're not great. You don't want those. But just for reference, the original has a 46 and a 41. So that's pretty evenly that's right there.
I don't know if
but one's a cult classic
here.
and one's not. Ever
Sure. Consistency is key. You're right. And I Still Know What You Did Last Summer has a whopping 10 and 29. Like that's bad, man. That's
baller.
Dang.
I would not have chosen a certain choice that they make later or like after the credit sequence, but they did.
They did.
Yep. What about the Metacritic, Grayson?
The Metacritic for the 97 is 52. And I gotta get the other one up.
I got it.
Okay.
The Metacritic for the current one is a whopping 43.
Yeah, it is.
Both are better than Ghost Ship.
Yeah.
I disagree.
I mean, look, Ghost Ship's fun, man. It is. It's a fun movie. Thanks for the sigh. Appreciate that.
I don't know if that's an accurate statement. Well, it is a fair opinion to have, and you're allowed to have it. I just think factually it may not.
Are
be
these
correct.
movies better than Con Air? Con Air.
No.
Con Air's rated lower too.
Lower than 43? Was it?
No. I'm sorry. Mortal Kombat was. Mortal Kombat 95. Are
Mortal
these
Kombat
better than Mortal Kombat?
Yes. The original and the 2025 I think are better than Mortal Kombat 1995. Yes.
I don't know if this one would be, but probably the original.
I'd say the original probably is.
Yeah.
Because you don't have Sub-Zero dance martial arting down the steps with some henchmen, which is weird to watch. I just watched all three of those movies, and boy, that's
Con Air's Metacritic is 52,
which is close to.
Yes,
but Con Air also has legendary meme status, and that that's special.
I mean, like, look, he's
Cameron
right.
Poe, baby.
Memes
Cameron
matter.
They do.
Talk to those people at that Coldplay concert.
Oh,
memes will ruin your fucking life.
Listen.
Indeed. Anyway, let's get into it. Chris, count us down, even though you didn't see it. But
so I didn't see it, but I'm interested to see what you guys think. So what is your guys' thumbs up or thumbs down on I Know What You Did Last Summer 2025 in 3, 2, 1. Yeah, I figured that was going to be the case. What? No way!
Get out of here.
Only because they did bring Jennifer Love Hewitt and Freddie Prinze Jr. back. That's it. No. If it hadn't been for them, it would have been down.
Absolutely not.
Hold on. So just because some nostalgia bait old heads hop into this movie, it makes it a recommend approval for you? That's crazy.
One of the single worst things they do in this movie involves those people.
Really?
Yeah, well, of course it does, but I don't think what
Grayson asked me not to spoil it, so I won't.
Well, no, don't
please.
It's bad. Please don't. But I think the decision you're talking about was made after the original script was greenlit. I think that all came about because of changes that had to be made. So just that's all I'll say about that. But
Thumbs up.
because it says, can I recommend this to someone? Well, if you love the original, I know you did last summer, then absolutely. Like, there's
it'll
no
just piss them off.
Well, I was gonna ask. Does this movie bastardize the
Yes.
original?
100%.
I don't think it bastardized. I just don't think it does it justice. I don't know. If
Legacy,
I don't know if there's a difference.
legacy of one character does not withstand, and it's a choice that somebody made, and it's not a good choice. It's just not.
You guys are talking about it in all the attempted recordings we had tonight, so I know what you're talking about, and I think something like that's big. I'm very surprised that you gave this a thumbs up, Grayson. Some of the movies that we've had that we've seen you disapprove of, and this one gets an approval is interesting to me. So it's interested to hear it,
because some things they do and they do it right, and I was happy during some of the movie. So I guess I should amend my statement because I was more upset. I was upset and disappointed more than I was happy. So I guess maybe the thumbs up was a bit of, but I still think that's the way I got to go because I can recommend it to a certain crowd and they would love it.
Stand your ground, man. It's all good. I'm just surprised. That's all.
Die on your hill, buddy.
Yeah, I'm just surprised.
It's the people. So I saw it when in a very, very sold out theater. I think there was one seat and it was the first row. But people were laughing, hooping, hollering. Like, people loved it. I was in the minority in that theater. I was absolutely in the minority on that one.
There was like 14 people in my movie theater.
I was going to say that probably wasn't the case in our area, but
it's not.
Well, I may have missed it, but in my showing, the director came in with Sarah Michelle Gellar, and that was a big deal. People love Sarah. I think they had no idea who the director was, but everyone loved Sarah Michelle Gellar. So I mean, she's a fan favorite, and I got to say that that tracks though because
she was a '90s TV icon,
of course.
Yeah,
I'm sure people loved her more for the fact that she was Buffy than for
the choice.
1,000%.
I mean, I love a lot of celebrities when they're in my proximity. Sure,
of course. But maybe that's why I was in such a sold out theater. Although I didn't see it in past, I've been fortunate enough to see those. But it wasn't advertised, so I don't know how people knew that was going to happen. But maybe it's a special thing. I don't know. But that was pretty cool, though. But I mean, let's get into the movie. And before we do that, I want to just talk about the '97 one first.
Okay.
Just for a few minutes. I think that '97 was also the same guy who wrote Scream, Kevin Williamson. He has kind of that's what he does well, is write those kind of films. At least makes them interesting. But something the '90s film did really well, this one didn't do, was build suspense. And that's a big deal because in a slasher, if you don't have suspense, you've already lost half the battle. It's done. It's gone. So to me, it didn't do a really good job of building suspense. And one thing, so I'm really making my thumbs up sound bad because what I'm gonna say next is usually when you're watching a film like this, you're nervous and you're excited to find out who the killer is. I didn't care because as I was going through the roster in my head, I was thinking to myself, is there anyone that this could be that I would be surprised about? And the answer was no. And then I made a decision in my head like, well, if they go this route, I'm going to be pissed.
Yep.
I was pissed.
When I figured out who it was going to be, I was like, God damn it.
Yeah, I was really upset.
Audibly annoyed.
Yeah.
Well, because it just doesn't make any sense. Like, at least in the first one. So let's just rehash the first one, but we'll leave like a comma there. We'll rehash the first one is we start. But what I will give the movie props for is in the first one, it fades in on, I think it's a beach in the morning or night. One of it's either dusk or the other one. But like and the how this one opens, it's literally the same beach, the same body of water. So I mean, like, that's pretty cool. But I mean, I just literally watched it, so only way I'd know that. But it opens very similarly, and we established very quickly Jennifer Love Hewitt, Sarah Michelle Gellar, Freddie Prinze Jr. and Ryan Felipe, which is even at the time was an extremely well-known cast. Man, I mean,
a lot of handsome there,
a lot of good-looking people on screen for sure. So there's real talent there. I think opposed to what we got in this movie, I don't think there's a lot of talent.
No.
I guess I feel comfortable saying that because I've now seen it, and I thought because I was like, I typed these people's names in a million times for reimbursing things or for a hotel or whatever for these people. So I know their names. I just didn't know their face or what they've done. But I thought surely these people were picked because of talent that they have. Maybe that's not. maybe I was wrong about that.
Ouch.
Because I didn't. Well, Roger, did you? Were you like lit on fire by any of the performances
No.
in the way that
And
we were in
well, like,
'97?
So let me premise this by saying I don't think anybody necessarily does a bad job in this movie acting wise. I think the writing is so bad in this movie at points where I wouldn't know if they were acting or just reading whatever drivel that was given them.
Yeah, that's
Because
fair.
like there are lines in this movie where I was just like, ugh. Because it's like I don't know who this movie is made for. And because like clearly you're trying to bring in some of the old head people, right?
Yeah.
Some nostalgia stuff, stuff from 25, 30 years ago, trying to get some of these people to be like, hey, I'd like to see another one of those movies. And then it's 90% of it focuses on the younger kids, which I totally understand that. I get that. But they're just dumb as shit, right? And like when you think about how the 97 movie works, if somebody has a cell phone, 3/4 of that movie just evaporates. Right?
3/4 of any movie made in the '90s is
Yeah.
done.
So
Yeah.
guess what? It's 2025. Everybody's got a fucking cell phone. And we still make dumbass decisions.
Yep.
It's
Well,
like, come on, dude.
That's the cell phone for me has always been you've got to pass the cell phone test. You've got to work it in or somehow take it out, but you've got to do it. You got to establish it in the film because that's like the one crux of everything. It's any horror film can be undone by a fucking cell phone. It's the same reason why we don't have Bigfoot shows anymore because everyone's got a phone in their
Everybody's
pocket.
got a phone. Yeah.
Everyone's got a camera in there. You can't fudge anything anymore.
So there is a point in this movie where one of our guys whose name is Teddy. Teddy's a big guy, kind of a moron. Rich, he's got rich parents. That's why Teddy is Teddy, right? Looks like Junior Channing Tatum. Big, firm, solid jawline.
Got it.
Respect,
Yeah,
kid. Nice abs.
Yep,
Gotcha.
yep.
All that.
There's a point where he's got a sliding door in his house that's like automated, and it's like a gate, like an actual like steel or iron gate, like clicking, and it's just open and closing. And he undoes it on his phone, and he walks through this hallway, walks around a statue or something.
Oh yeah.
That clearly looks like.
I don't want to talk. That made me so
Clearly
mad.
looks like a giant man in a rain slicker.
No, not the statue.
Okay.
All right, I'm officially changing it. I thought I can't.
Directly behind the man, standing there with a hook in his hand and a giant rain slicker and a big old bucket hat, is some dumbass statue looking like a fish. They look nothing alike. Nothing. This is Teddy's fucking house.
Yeah.
Well, the point is, from a distance, you might not, if you're drinking, you might not be able to tell. But like when you get up close, there's obviously something standing in front of that fucking statue. But that's the thing is
that when Teddy dies?
Yeah, it's when he gets back.
Okay,
it's the beginning of Teddy's end. Yes. Spoiler: Teddy don't make it.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
So back to the thing is like, I also. One of your focuses, if you're making a movie like this, especially a movie that started in the 90s and had such a kind of a cult classic appeal now, is the kills have to be on par or better. Like the gore count, that's a thing. And also they weren't. There's even one of the main characters dies with just a little whimper. I said to myself, no, that's not the end of that character. There's no way. And then lo and behold, 10 minutes later, we find out it is the end. But I'm trying not to be a spoiler because I don't want to deter people from watching this. However, going back to the 97 version is you had that style and the aesthetic of the 90s, of the overproduced, of the overlit, of the blue lens flare, of everything that worked in the favor of making those movies fun to watch. Mm-hmm. And you take it away by making everything look so crisp and clean. You've gotten rid of the blue lens flare. Everything, it just looks so lit and clean and not like a slasher should look. That's just me though. Maybe that's just me, but I think that's part of the generation making films now. And the director's younger than you'd think. I think that she would I think that maybe that's just missed on young directors these days is the importance of the aesthetic style of the original. It needs to be followed, and I don't think it was.
Well, think about 28 years later. They went out of their way to make sure they used
Sure.
older cameras, older shooting styles, older lens styles
Yep.
to kind of give that same feeling that you're watching a continuation from a movie that was, that happened years back, but they want you to feel like you're still on that same world and like that reality. They could do that with these kinds of movies, right? If
Sure.
that would give that more of that kind of that. So if they're trying to harken back to the older film, right? It's different if
Right.
it's just, hey, we're gonna use this property and do something and do our thing now. Like it feels like they're trying to pull the nostalgia back with it. So why not commit to the whole bit? You know what I mean? And it's something that could be done.
Why
You're
not
right.
just shoot it on 8mm and make a snuff film?
Yeah, well,
That's a
Just
choice. That's a
Yeah.
choice for sure.
Well, I mean,
Hey, that's artistic choice. Though.
art, quote
That's
unquote.
art, motherfucker.
So, like, an adjacent question I have for you guys, kind of like in the same vein, I know we've all seen like the new, like, speaking of slashers, I should have brought this up earlier when we're talking about the other, before this, but we've all seen the Halloween like revival, right? 2018, 2021, 2022.
We all really like the first one.
The first one's pretty good.
After that, things really take a turn.
I didn't mind the second one. The third one was trash.
I don't want to talk about this. I don't want to talk about this.
But here's the thing. They're all rated lower than this. All of them, like Metacritic wise.
The first one?
Yeah.
Is it really?
I think so. Or
that hard to believe. But
Okay,
No,
hold on,
I bet
hold
you
on.
the first one's not.
Hold on.
It's okay.
If
Okay.
it isn't, it's right on. It's right there. I mean, like I think they're better than this, right? With the way you guys are talking. Like
first one definitely. The 2018 one absolutely yes is better than this one. I would imagine so.
Rotten Tomatoes is significantly higher.
Yeah, Rotten Tomatoes, but Metacritic is what I'm talking about
I get it.
specifically. So it's like it should, but like it sounds like that, like for some reason that one got like
No,
okay,
it's
that
fine.
one, okay, yeah, but
Okay. All the other two, sure.
the second
that's
and third
fine.
one, yeah,
I
yeah.
believe that. Yeah.
Wait,
But still,
what's the Metacritic of the first
67
one?
on
67.
the 2018 one.
That's about where yeah, okay.
Yeah, but like I thought the next two are like in the 40s or something, and it's like I would watch those long before I'd watch this.
Well, I think you're right, only because Michael Myers is a more interesting villain than Hookman.
Maybe, but it's still a slasher. But why is that one getting? Why is this one still hovering at that 40 in those 40s then, along with Halloween? If the better villain is in the more interesting villain is in Halloween.
I think this one is artificially inflated. And I'll tell you why. Chris, you bring this up all the time, and I think you're probably right. 9 out of 10 times you bring this up, I think you're right. The people that are going out of their way to go on Metacritic to review this are people that love I Know You Did Last Summer and Jennifer Love Hewitt to begin with. That's what I would assume. I haven't read any of the reviews. I always wait until after we record. But I imagine if you go onto Metacritic and read a lot of those super high ratings, they have nothing to do with the movie. It's all, I love Jennifer Love Hewitt, 10 out of 10. Nothing to do with the actual movie, which is my problem with any rating system to begin with.
Sure.
It's all just grain of salt to begin with.
You can only use my rating system, so like whatever I say is the rating.
There you go.
Or don't listen. Or don't listen
to three assholes on the radio.
Don't listen to three assholes on the radio. Is right.
So or do not listen to me. Those are the only options you have. there is no third option.
So let's talk about. Go ahead.
I guess my point in all that is, asking like, this movie, after seeing it, like, is this like would you guys watch this again versus some of the other slasher stuff we've seen recently? Is it better than some of the stuff, or is this like pretty low on the list for you after seeing it?
So if you compare it straight up to, let's take a couple of Screams ago, and they kind of brought that back to life. Every one of those Scream movies is significantly better than this.
I don't think 4 is.
Even the bad ones.
4, I don't consider 4 the new one. It's 5,
6, 7,
5, 6, and 7 are when they kind of like redid.
We've only had 5. We've only had 5 and 6. We haven't had 7.
Oh, we haven't had 7. Okay, well, still 5 and 6. The last two. Then
the last two they're both significantly better than this movie.
Okay.
Yes, but I'll tell you why. It follows the Scream mythos, though. Like it follows the lore.
It's a better story.
I don't think this one follows the lore.
What about the Final Destination movie? Better than this,
the
right?
last one,
better,
yes. The couple one before that, no, not at all.
I mean, the recent makes.
Yeah, the last Final Destination movie is, I think, above average. Yeah. Like it's pretty good.
What about the bad Halloween movies? Not the 2018, but the 2021 and 22.
So if I had, so 2018 is definitely better than this by a large margin. Halloween Ends is so bad. I couldn't even accurately describe that at this point of how how shitty that ending actually is. So this is probably better than that one.
Really?
But
Okay.
the middle one's definitely better.
Yeah, I
than
think the
this.
middle one.
So let me, Roger. I think you almost said it. I'm more disappointed by the ending of Halloween Kills than I am the reveal of this movie.
Well,
okay.
Because this one didn't really matter. And the other one, like, what? Are you
the
fucking
reveal
serious?
is stupid in this movie. But like at no point in this movie was I that invested to actually care.
Gotcha,
I agree.
yeah.
I would agree.
We had a good movie and a decent movie leading into the third one of the Halloween.
Yeah,
like kind of rerun.
Well,
so.
they used. I don't think the sequel was planned. I think the fact that the 2018 movie made so much goddamn money, they immediately put a sequel into place, which was smart. But I don't think it was planned that way. I don't think it was planned to be a trilogy until the first one made so much money that they had to.
I think the issue with this movie is if they never make another "I Know What You Did Last Summer" movie, no one's gonna care.
Yeah.
Well, it ends the same way. It ends with some ambiguity. Is the killer dead? No.
Maybe.
Like the first one in 1997 ends with, well, we found his severed hook hand, like hand holding the hook, but we didn't find him in the water.
The rest of the body, you know?
Yeah.
And then the sheriff's like, they always turn up, most of them anyway. It's like, okay, well, you've just left it open for ambiguity. And this one's the same way.
Would
Like,
you watch Leprechaun in the Hood over this?
no.
Hell yeah.
No.
I actually, you know what? I'd rather watch that Leprechaun YouTube video. It was like, you ever seen Leprechaun say yeah? You guys remember that iconic video? By the way,
It is. It really
So
is.
let's talk about, Roger, the one thing I want to talk about, one of my biggest things is the setup.
Okay.
So we spent a little bit of time in 97 getting to know our characters. There's two couples. The one of the first guys who gets killed, Max, is, sorry, spoilers from 1997. My bad.
R.I.P. Max.
He wants to be with Julie James, but she doesn't want it. She's too nice to really tell him, and she just kind of runs off with her boyfriend Ray, Freddie Prinze Jr. And then Barry, of course, is like, "Get the fuck out of my face, Max!" And he Barry's being Barry, and Sarah Michelle Gellar's like, "I'm pretty." That's she's of course she's the Croaker Queen. She's that character, but and then the Croaker Queen in the
That's their little pageant.
No, I got it.
Have,
Yep.
So it's here. So the setup is we've got set up two couples. They're out on a joyride, and one of them's they're drinking, they're driving too fast, they're having a good time, and they hit someone who they then find out right there on the cliff of the thing is like they have a panic attack. And like and to the credit of the director of the 2025 one, Jennifer Jayla Robinson, forget her name, the same characters meant to play the characters in the original, they play the same roles. One's, yes, we need to get rid of this. The other's like, I don't know, we can get in trouble, it's morally not right. But again, cell phones take the tension of that scene away completely, because in the first one they couldn't call for EMS services.
Yep.
In this one, they could just fucking call an ambulance. It doesn't,
Well,
you know what I mean?
They do call for the ambulance.
Sure. Okay.
They don't go to the police. And
Well,
here's the thing.
yeah.
Here's the problem that I have with the 2025, right? I understand you don't want to stick around when everything happens. I get that, But like at any point through the next calendar year, 360 some odd days, someone could have went to the police. Any
Exactly.
one of them. But they made a pact. A death pact.
Well, I mean, again, Ray kind of goes off. The Ray character, he's feeling way more morally ambiguous than the rest of them. The jacket gets stolen, like Barry's jacket. This jacket gets taken. A lot of similarities. However, the first one is absolutely, they hit the guy. He's alive. They dump him. Or they throw him in the river or in the ocean. He grabs the crown. Barry freaks out. He goes down there to get it. The guy's still alive. Then they leave, but they know it. It is 100% their fault. In this movie, I don't even think it's their fault.
So I would argue that it is partially their fault.
Yeah,
but
fine.
not as much to lead you on like a 10-person killing spree.
Well, okay. But
Just
in this, so I don't even think it's their fault in this one. They're just idiots. They shouldn't be out of their car. But again, that guy's also
dumb people that caused a dumb thing to happen.
Well, he's driving the person who's driving is driving way too fast in the center of the road and has to veer off. and then his truck kind of does that thing where it's like, oh, I'm teetering.
They tried to get to him. They did try to help
Exactly.
him.
They tried to see again. I think it's a poor setup on the writer of this movie's fault because I don't want any moral ambiguity there. I want them to be guilty in my mind. And I wasn't. Like, again, hashtag Thanos did nothing wrong. It's like, I don't think these kids, I think when they couldn't stop the truck from rocking and they couldn't break in to save him, they called the ambulance. Like, they did everything that they could have except stick around and give stories, I guess, and give statements. But I mean, it's not like they didn't call the police. That's why I'm so morally conflicted in this movie, because like it doesn't make any sense. The writing doesn't. I thought there would have been a better setup for this, because like that's the whole crux of the film, is what they did was wrong in the first one. This one, they're being hunted for no reason now, just because someone's upset.
Maybe that strategy is to make you feel for the victims, though. So maybe instead of going, oh well, they're all guilty, so I can't wait to see these bastards die one by one. Maybe this time the idea behind doing it that way was okay, well, you want to root for these characters. We want you to be on their side and be like, oh, they're dying. Oh, they didn't do anything wrong. Oh, it wasn't their fault. Like maybe they're trying to pull that string, which I don't think that works here, obviously, but maybe that's what they're going for.
So I understand what you're bringing up, but I know you didn't see the movie, so I'll give you a little bit of insight, which also happens in the original 97 version. If it was just somebody trying to get revenge for what they consider a wrongful death, okay, and it only went after the people that
were involved,
I could somewhat buy that.
Yeah.
Like the second person that gets murdered, or the first person that gets murdered in this movie, it just happens to be the boyfriend of somebody else who wasn't even involved in it at the time. He's
in the
just
trailer.
Straight up collateral damage.
Gotcha.
He's the guy that gets harpooned in the trailer.
Oh, okay.
Hey, that guy had nothing to do with this.
Dang.
All he did was end up with the one girl like a year later.
Huh.
That's it.
Well, which
his only crime was being handsome.
He was that indeed.
Gotcha.
But I will, to the film's credit, I will say that Madeline Klein, who plays Danica Richards, Chase Suey Wonders, Ava Brooks, Jonah Howard King, who plays Milo, Tyreek Withers, who plays Teddy, and Sarah Pigeon, who plays Stevie, they all play the respective roles of the characters in the first. Two of them kind of mold into one, but the four characters from the original are represented here by five. That's what two of them kind of mold to make one, but five other very similar characters to the original film, which again, to the filmmaker's credit, I will give them that, because that does make sense. However, another accident happening on the same road, on the same turn.
You think the guardrail should be reinforced there?
You think they would,
like at least some of those like reflective signs, like the arrow, that says like the justifies sharp turn.
You'd think you would.
I've done some shitty roads though in my day, where like all that stuff needs updated, and it isn't. You don't feel safe driving near that.
Yeah, but this is a resort town now. Infrastructure, they have it.
Gotcha.
Well, they're by bare in. I guess one of the things in this film is they've scrubbed everything that they can about the 97 massacre.
Corporate greed reigns.
They've scrubbed it all from the internet. No one. I mean, in order to find the stuff, you have to find old newspapers, which again, kind of clever in a way. Like in a digital age and in a movie made in 2024 for showing in 2025, that's kind of clever actually. That they scrubbed it, so just got rid of it.
Would have its own wiki entry.
Of course it would.
Yeah.
And the town doesn't seem near as worried as they should be that this is happening. Nor is like again,
oh no, someone died again.
Well, so they have this town hall thing.
Yeah, it's awful.
And it's hilarious.
Okay.
Because like we hadn't seen Freddie Prinze Jr.'s Ray's character yet.
Mm-hmm.
We find out like he's involved, like he's the boss of one of the people that are there because like he runs the local bar or whatever, and she works for him, whatever.
Okay, yeah.
Right, so it's like adjacent. So I understand why he's there, like helping out his people.
Yeah.
Her parents are dead. He's taking care of her, that sort of thing. I get that. So the police chief and Teddy's dad, who is like the big real estate developer, is like basically the mayor controlling the town. They're up there and being like, hey, look, we don't have all the facts. Sort of like downplaying everything.
Yep.
This is after two people have
He's the
died.
goon guy with money.
Yeah. We have already had two people that he's not even like a goon guy. He's just more of like, we'll handle it. Like, yeah, like that kind of thing. He's not even like a super sleazy guy.
Okay.
but like definitely is like bought off all this shit, right? Sure. But so all these people like start getting a commotion. No one else speaks during the entire thing except for the people who are now being hunted, popping up. Like nobody's like, "Oh my god, remember when this happened?" And Freddie Prinze Jr. like basically like ninja kicks the door. And he's like, "This isn't the first time, Grant. Remember '97." And he's just, and everybody's like, "Oh." Like it just like a hush. Dude, it's so fucking corny.
Oh,
it's so corny.
It's bad
Again,
campy.
I'm changing my thumb to that. Here's Sony.
This
Please
is not the first time, Grant.
Sony, please don't be mad at me. That scene's a little. This whole movie's cringe. I think is the right word because it's written. So here's the thing: is I think this is like it's a good first draft. It's a good like okay, we have a jumping point. Let's improve this script. Let's take some elements that work and some that don't, and kind of rework it.
You can only run it through AI so many times.
Well, I mean, I don't. The thing is, I think Sony really.
Everybody has the right amount of fingers.
I think Sony really thought that they had something with this. On the chatter in the office all the time, I really think that they thought they had something, or maybe they were really hooked on the fact that it was they were trying to get some of that Scream. Because Scream has successfully come back and done well for itself. Like most franchises don't do that, but Scream has done that. So maybe they were trying to recapture some of that Scream. But again, you're missing the '90s star power that made that movie work. It's like when for example in the scene when Julie hears she's driving on the road and she hears crabs and she pulls over and opens the thing and it's Max's body in there with a bunch of crabs. And then she runs to get them. She runs to Helen's place after Helen just had her hair scissored because the killer wasn't detected in her house at all. And then they run back to the car, and Barry's like, "Where are these crabs?" And they open it, and there's nothing. It's all clean. And then that's the icon of like, "What do you come at me then, bro? What are you doing?" That's a very iconic '97 scene, and we don't get that.
I do appreciate our idiot hero Teddy in this movie because Teddy's a big guy.
Yeah,
Teddy's like, "I'm gonna beat the shit out of you," and like immediately punches him right in the face.
All right, fair.
And I was like, "Oh yeah, Teddy."
Yeah.
Get him. Get his ass, Teddy.
I thought, okay, a little bit of a spoiler. I really thought Teddy was not because like I started the movie hating Teddy and I finished the movie loving Teddy. I did that. I did a full 360 because he's actually funny. He's like legitimately funny.
Teddy's got an alcohol problem.
Hold on. You mean a 180 because a 360
sorry,
you
went back to hating him.
Yeah, 180. I was very surprised when spoiler alert. I mean, I was very surprised when he was one of the deceased, but
Teddy also ends up getting stabbed in the leg. Which is not anything like in the calf muscle, which is something you don't see very often in a movie. And I thought,
has an instant hard limp.
Yeah, after he'd already been stabbed in the side, which probably sucked.
I mean, not high on the great list. You know what I mean?
It's pretty far down if we're going to be honest. But yeah, he goes to kick the killer, who grabs his leg and sticks the knife in, or like the hook thing, or was that the knife?
No, it's a knife. I was really upset.
Yeah, he's got the knife. Gets the knife like into his calf. Like
I've had a stab wound in my calf before, so yeah, those aren't. That's tough.
Unfortunate for.
Well, it's just because I wanted. What is this? Okay, well, I mean, I think this movie recaptures a lot of the Scream stuff, as I think the '97 movie recaptured a lot of the iconic Scream escapes and then kills. It's like I was just watching. I was like, okay, that happened in Scream. That was in Scream. That was in Scream. That was in Scream. And like, Jesus. But again, written by Kevin Williamson, you might have some of those repeat things, but it's a lot of that is because you remember one of the Scream films, Dewey actually had a leg up on the killer in one of the sequences.
Mm-hmm.
Dewey actually, like, you think, okay, Dewey's gonna beat the shit out of this killer. I'm like, I'm for it, and then it doesn't go Dewey's way. But I think that's what they were trying. Like there was a point where like, okay, Teddy's gonna beat the shit. Whoever this is gonna get their ass kicked by Teddy. And unfortunately, it doesn't happen.
Honestly, you're kind of pumped because Teddy's like, I'm going to beat the shit out of you. And like he does it in such a like, hell yeah, Teddy.
Yeah.
Get him.
Well, it was like 10 minutes before that, Teddy's walking to the gym, the same gym that Barry's character comes out of and gets attacked and gets run over in that same exact gym. He's like, I'm going to the gym, so I'm ready for this fucker.
Yeah, I'm going to get swole.
I'd be like, look, if you're gonna go right into 2025, just go right into it, man.
Can we talk about Milo for a second?
Oh, do we have to?
Yeah, for at least a minute, right? So Milo is
He's the Ray character.
He's the character of Ray, except
Okay.
he doesn't have a girlfriend or anything like that. But he's kind of got this like pseudo relationship thing with
Ava.
Ava,
Mhm.
right? And like the movie starts out like in Danica, who is the queen lady in this movie, is like, you should hook up with Milo tonight, because like they kind of have this thing going on, and
Yeah.
obviously it doesn't happen. You know, they just watch somebody die, and
Oh, all
you know,
right.
so
Not
like
really in
a
the
year
mood after
later,
that?
like a year later, there's still a little smolder going.
Okay,
It's still,
okay.
going on. But like they get their scene together, like they're like, no one, you know, they're all in the house here. They're like, nobody sleeps alone. They end up in the bed, and they're like, within 30 seconds, they're like all over each other, right?
Okay.
She leans over and she goes, "Choke me. I deserve to be punished." Laughably bad.
Whoa.
Laughably bad.
Whoa.
No, and Milo fucking freaks out. He wasn't ready for this. It's not on his kink card, like anywhere inside the, and like he's like, I need a minute.
I mean,
Like she was like, he was so not, and then she was like, you don't have to do that. I'm sorry. Like she was so like, let's do this right now. To all men, like, oh, I scared him. I scared him
Probably
bad.
should have talked these things
Yeah,
out first. Yeah.
okay, I'm changing my
like,
thought back.
dude,
You know.
It was laughably like
Oh,
I.
It's
Like the
just-
look on his face when she says that, he was just like, "Oh my god!" Milo lives over here. She lives over here. Like little bit of incompatibility.
Milo is the Freddie Prinze Jr. Freddie character from the, without being as handsome as Freddie Prinze, without having the Julie James character, without being important.
Without mattering to the
At all. He doesn't. He really does. I mean, and what happens to Milo is so like,
hilarious to me.
it was so
Hilarious.
like, are you serious? That's what you're gonna do in a movie like this? You're gonna do that? It's just I don't want to spoil it, but it's a little disappointing to say
It's
the least. Okay,
annoying.
back to the thumbs down.
But
it's
yeah, it was
it's
just,
Jeez.
well, okay, it's
he was so
even-
not ready for her to come at him like that.
even with the
I
stylized.
deserve to be punished.
Well, she's conflicted in her head, but again, for very
Oh, that's not it. That's not it at all.
That's deep seated.
Mhm.
she's got very 2025 reasons for that, and it's part of that. But part of the stylized killings are what we miss. For example, is like Helen on the float in the original when Sarah Michelle Gellar dies. Is she sees Barry up in the rafters? Of course, no one believes her and runs up there to help him, and he's getting slaughtered. But then a cop takes her home, and then he, because of a barricade, you take the alley, and then he gets killed. And then anyway, so she's running, and she goes to the store of her store that her sister runs, who is Veronica Vaughn. I got a kick out of that when I watched that again. Veronica Vaughn. And then she, the older sister dies, and then Helen dies. Helen is I never felt like I did in the first one when both the people that were killed, Barry and Helen, you think they might be able to get out of it, but they don't. And then Helen, for example, she's running towards the parade, and she gets there. She stops and turns around. The guy is right behind her, of course, and she's like 4 feet from the crowd in the parade, and she dies behind the tires. That gets me every time. Stuff like that's hard for me to watch because like they're right the fuck there. But again, there's not even a trace of that in this movie, unfortunately.
Well,
except for the fact you think Teddy might win but I didn't have that. I didn't have that feeling. That's a problem.
We do get in 2025. We do get multiple people who are strung up and put on full-on public display after they're dead.
All right.
So
Again, very Scream, very Drew Barrymore and Scream. I mean, they're copying there was like 5 or 6 things that I didn't write down on my phone I should have, but I'm like, they just copied that from the original Scream, like 100%. I don't remember what they were, but it's a shame. I should have written that on my phone. But again, the studios need to be careful when it comes to younger filmmakers that are trying to make a name for themselves. Is any of this original, or is it all stolen? Then no, then don't make it. Because if I see it, millions of other people see it. I mean, it's not like I'm not the be all end all of movies, but it's a little disheartening to see that stuff.
I think the thing with this movie that annoyed me the most is it feels so disjointed.
Yeah.
Because like if you're following along, through like the 3/4 mark or whatever, sure, it's fine. But like the last act of this movie feels like it doesn't belong there. And I know that they reshot a bunch of stuff in this movie, and I don't know if they changed the ending completely, but it doesn't feel like it
Fit
doesn't
at
feel
all.
like it fit to this movie.
Yeah.
And it's noticeable, like very much noticeable, and it's a really disheartening choice that they make.
Yeah.
And it doesn't fit with any of the vibe throughout any of the other movies to that point. And I don't want to spoil it because like it is the one thing is actually a little bit of a surprise,
Yeah.
but it doesn't work for me like
Gotcha.
at all.
It's a surprise in the worst kind of way. Like it's a surprise. Like
Ooh,
someone got you a surprise present, but you didn't want or need
Like
it.
a surprise
Oh.
nut tap. Like, hey,
Speed of 90s.
hey, look,
Jeez.
those are surprises.
Going way back 90s, early 2000 on that one.
Hey,
Yeah. Hey-o.
Exactly.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you. It was just, I mean, part of me was like, no way. There's no way they're gonna. Oh, they did it. Yeah, they did it. And it's like I read the original draft of the script. I don't. It was changed from the original draft. So whatever happened, maybe they thought that was a better idea. It wasn't.
It wasn't.
Because it like the first one. Because the first one does such a good job in casting suspicion on other people. First, you think it for 3 or 4 seconds it could be Max, but no. And then like the movie does a really good job, like because they have to go out to the sticks to talk to the classmate of one of the victim to figure things out. And like there's weird angles being used, and like there's dark corners in the hallway. And you're like, okay, this is what. And then no, and then they don't. And then she goes back and. Anne Heche's holding a knife, but she's gutting fish, and it gives you that quick. And then for like a large part of the film is telling you that it's Ray. It's giving you everything you need to make that guess yourself. But it's not Ray, but it's telling you it's Ray. And this film, it tries to cast suspicion on other people, but I never once thought it was the people that the movie wants you to think that it is.
No,
okay.
Which is
too easy.
Which is dumb because then when the movie finally reveals who it is, I was like, what the fuck? It doesn't even make any sense. Like, boo! The one thing that like I thought they would do, and this is kind of a spoiler in a way, I guess, is make it more of a legacy reason as to why this is happening. And I guess you could say it is. You could make that argument.
I know I understand what you're saying, but I don't get that vibe. They weren't smart enough to do that.
The one thing that this movie does, and it really upsets me, is I like bringing the two stars back, of course, Freddie Prinze and Jennifer Love Hewitt, which of course big deal for me, big deal for anyone who loved the original or watching movies in the 90s. That's a big deal. There's one sequence where she's living in a house. Julie James, who went through this horrible thing in 97, is living in a house
times in 98.
In 98. And
was it 99?
And 2006. There was no. I don't think she was in that one, but the event still happened. But anyway, she's living in a house with a bunch of window doors, which I think is weird because you can't really stop someone from coming through those. You'd think someone that survived that kind of thing would not live in a house like that. Number one. So they do the scene where she's, rapping. She's a professor, and
she moved a whole 45 minutes away.
Ooh, okay.
45,
getting remote.
Not even a full hour
to get away.
Technically, still the suburbs. I'm just saying.
So it's one thing that they do, and this is such an amateur thing. Is like, so she's got a bunch. What she would. She has a bunch of like motion detectors that she can like hold up her phone and click on, like which she would. Someone in that situation. And the thing's like motion detected at your back door. So she goes, looks, nothing there. And then it's like motion detected at your front door. And then she goes to the front. And then the scene carries on as normal. But I mean, unfortunately, that is what the director considered to be a clue, which really was like, that's not a clue. That's a punch me in the gut, hit me over the head with the answer kind of thing.
It's stupid.
Well, it's dumb. It's just dumb. But it's, again, this movie. Okay, so officially, thumbs down. So this movie,
I've done it. I've swung them.
It handholds you instead of, you know what I mean? Like there's the thing that you don't want a movie like this to do is to hold your hand and tell you things rather than let you experience it and the story unfold. Which is what like Scream famously didn't do, was hold your hand, but it gave you a very entertaining movie, and it kept like subverting expectations, and this person could be that person, who is it? It's just everything that movie did, this one didn't, unfortunately.
I'll be right back. Fucking Stu rules.
Yeah, I'm as someone who is excited for these and worked on it. It's like I'm so now during this conversation, I'm so incredibly disappointed
Yeah.
in this movie. It just wasn't, and like they obviously sequel bait it.
Sure.
There's a
There's an
sequence.
after credit scene.
There's an after credit scene with Brandy. If you know I know you did last summer lore, which is actually I think pretty funny to a large part of the audience. It's just this movie. I know what it costs. I know what they're going to put the budget is, but I know what it costs. I won't say it, but I don't think we're going to get a sequel. It's not making enough. Do you think this movie has the potential of having a strong second weekend?
No,
not with what's coming out.
God, no.
Well, that's my point. Is this thing is dead prematurely? It's so sequel bait.
No, it happened and then died. I don't know if it's dead prematurely.
Oh,
This thing came out and then passed away.
Died on the vine.
Yeah.
Well,
like Teddy, it tried to punch it in the face. Just wasn't enough.
It tried to recapture that Scream stuff, and it couldn't do it. Like that's a hard act to follow because it's just the story I know you did last summer wasn't there to begin with. What worked was the setting and the stars of the time made that movie what it was. And so it just didn't. But
does this guy have a killer name? Like he'll have Ghostface and those
Hookhand.
Is that his
No.
name?
I don't know. No, he has something. I don't remember what it is. It doesn't matter.
Killer, I don't know.
Fish slicker.
He's
killer.
the worst of all the slasher killers from the 90s.
He is. His weapon is so
unwieldy.
Awful to be killing people with because you got to get him at an angle, and you might not even do that. You know what I mean? It's just I've gone on before about how I think that weapon is it's just not for killing people. It's just an awful choice to pick up to kill people. But it goes with the whole.
They refer to him as the Fisherman.
The Fisherman.
The Fisherman. Awful name, regardless.
Whack.
Yeah. Roger, final thoughts.
Movie's not good, man.
Yeah.
And here's the thing: somehow this movie, because like you have to say to the credits, after credits, it's almost 2 hours long.
Jesus.
Which,
Jesus.
Sure. Whatever.
Get me out at 90 if your movie's bad.
It's too long. The ending's stupid and
stupid.
It's annoying. Yeah.
What about you, Grayson?
The highlight of the experience was seeing Sarah Michelle Gellar. Like I saw her like hanging around set, but like never like in a scene or anything. But that was like the highlight of seeing her in the movie.
She's only on screen for a couple minutes.
Well, that was longer than I thought she was going to be. Jesus, I don't know how you work a dead character from the original in, but they did in an odd way. In an odd way too. I don't think the way made any sense. I don't think
it let them put her in the trailer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's all.
Legacy, baby.
That's all they needed.
I mean, I wonder without her involvement in this, if this movie wouldn't have made what it did. I wonder if that was
listen, I would like you to know, if you go to this movie to see Sarah Michelle Gellar, sorry, because she's in it for about 95 seconds.
No, she has like a solid like 2 minutes of screen time. That's it.
Well, I said 95. You said 2 minutes. Let's meet in the middle.
Well, I was only 25 seconds short. So
yeah, that's right.
Do you guys think that both of those times are a long time?
No. Well, earlier today.
Of course I do.
I wouldn't have said yes, but getting to the 2:30 mark for the recordings that wouldn't work today seemed like
that's fair.
It's true. It's a way to bring that back around. It's a long time.
I'm glad Roger got my joke.
I got it.
Thanks, buddy.
I'm just disappointed, man. Oh, it was
proud if you had 2 minutes and 90 seconds or so. You should be proud of that.
God, this is what you people come here for. Yes, indeed. All right, Chris. Any final thoughts from you hearing it?
I'm glad I didn't see it.
I don't know about that, but
I mean, I'm pretty sure it would have been A, a waste of my time, B, too long, C, not a good story, D, I have no ties to the original, I don't care about it at all, so I probably wouldn't have enjoyed it. So I'm pretty happy.
The only thing that I would say for people who have never watched that, I Know What You Did Last Summer, like the original two are better than this.
So why wouldn't I just watch the original?
Yeah, that's the thing too, right? And I know you didn't get to see it. I wouldn't even recommend, like, unless you have a real reason to see it. I can't recommend this to anybody.
Yeah,
because like it just goes against some of the original stuff, and it's just never mind. I'm not going to go down that path.
If I critique movies for a living, I'd watch it happily. You know what I mean?
True.
I would suggest you watch the '97. Like, that's by far and
It's
away
the
the
better one.
best
Yeah.
the best version, and
Yeah.
that should have been the one and done.
And if you're considering watching 97, just watch Scream. It's a better movie.
I mean, it really is.
I've seen both of those. I agree.
Well, watch the '97 one, Chris. I think you and the wife would. I'm sure your wife
I've
has seen
seen
it.
it. No,
Okay, well-
she's we're not our genre of movie.
Fair. So
Bring your
there's
family together, watch Scream 96 or whatever year.
I still need to
95?
traumatize my family with A Land Before Time, so that's what I'm working on.
oh man, your kids are in for a rough time, man. They're in for a
Oh,
good
those
cry.
Tears are coming. Those
Jeez.
tears are coming.
Years of therapy because you introduced them to Littlefoot and Littlefoot's mom.
All right, talk us out.
Brave
All right.
little toaster?
Also, we've talked about this recently, guys. Damn.
Yeah,
I
know. That was
It's
callback.
probably better than this movie.
All right, gentlemen. Thank you for
Definitely is better than this movie.
Thank you for joining me for this rushed discussion of I Know What You Did Last Summer, episode 39 of Post Credits Podcast, a show where we are very lucky to talk about movies with you. If you listen to this episode on an audio-only service, such as Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, Podbean, feel free to head over to YouTube. See us there also. You can see our handsome mugs, Roger's beard, my failure at growing one at all. I forget where I was. I always sidetrack myself with that. Thank you very much.
Chris will be there too.
Yeah, it's fine.
that's
Chris is
right.
there.
Chris is there. Yeah.
It's fine.
Uh,
It's fine. It's fine.
oh, Lord. Turn us on while you're doing some work or whatever. Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you for next week.
Leave us a comment if you
Like
want
and
to, but like
subscribe.
make sure it's like readable and legible.
Make sure you personally attack Chris in our comment section.
Yeah, something like that, and make sure I understand what you're saying about me or to me. So
Yep.
appreciate you.
But like and subscribe.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, do that while you're making your.
I'm
movie
terrible.
comments.
I'm an awful YouTuber. Like I never remember to say that. Like, I can't. I even have it written down right here on a big post-it note. Like and subscribe, and I never
Yeah,
say it.
well,
Well, that's good.
we'll get there.
Well, I mean, like, look, now they know that that's something that you need to work on.